Hey guys, it's Stephanie, and today I am here with the 25 Bookish Facts About Me tag. I was tagged by Kate over at Kate How, and I know this tag has been making its way around BookTube. I'm really excited to do it, and it's definitely true what everyone says, that it's not as easy as it seems to sit down and try to find 25 book-related things about yourself. But anyway, let's get to it. Number one is I definitely prefer paperback books to hardcover books. I have an issue with dust jackets. I feel like they get in the way. And right now my son is almost 2 years old, and toddlers and dust jackets and just things and shelves and nice things in general just don't mix very well. I tend to like the way paperback books feel better. I find them a lot easier to read. Definitely team paperback right here. Number two is I have liked the horror genre since I was a child. I started out on the Goosebumps series. I think I moved on from there to like the Fear Street series by R.L. Stine, and I really loved those scary stories to tell in the dark books with like the really creepy illustrations. Those were like my absolute favorite thing. Number three is I can read in Spanish. It just takes me a lot longer to process everything. So for example, like if someone shares an article on Facebook, I can make it through the article okay, but I don't think my skills are strong enough to make it through like a novel in the language. Number four is I love audiobooks and ebooks. And I tend to get really annoyed when people question the legitimacy of your reading experience when you choose something other than a physical book. I just think we're all different and we like different things, so it's going to be different for everybody. This one is a little embarrassing, but I read Anna Karenina in high school to impress my high school English teacher because I had a crush on him. My reading history is basically just a succession of like little obsessions. Like I said, I started out with Goosebumps and Fear Street, and then I moved on to like the Babysitter's Club series, and then in junior high I went through this phase where I was really into like whodunit type chapter books. In high school I was really into Jodi Picoult because I just feel like she was everywhere in like the late 2000s. And then in high school I also had a really big obsession with anything about King Henry VIII, so I read a whole lot of historical fiction and historical nonfiction. Pretty much anything that had to do with him or his reign or his wives or his court or anything, I was there. I read multiple books at a time. I used to just read one, but I think since I've started booktubing, I get a little bored and I have to read multiple things at a time. I struggle with DNFing. I do it, but it takes a lot of mental debate as to whether I should do it or not, and it's this long, laborious inner debate process before I DNF a book. I religiously update my Goodreads account with like my progress on books and my ratings and where my bookshelves are. Like I am a Goodreads fanatic. I am pretty disciplined about shopping from my TBR when I go to a bookstore. I like having like a list of what I'm looking for when I go in there, so I tend to not make a whole lot of cover buys. Speaking of Goodreads, I am constantly trying to trim down my TBR because sometimes it gets to a size where it just seems really intimidating, so I'll go and maybe knock some things off, but it's a very difficult process. I don't reread books, but I do find myself opening up books and rereading like awesome passages. I really get into the beginning of books, and then I really have to stop myself from speeding through the last 50 pages because I am definitely the kind of reader that like wants to know what's going to happen at the end. So I really have to like mentally like talk myself down and get myself to like savor the experience of reading the book. I would definitely have to say that Gabriel Garcia Marquez's 100 Years of Solitude is my favorite book of all time. I will get into more as to why when I do my Bookish Boxes video, but it's definitely like my most favorite book of all time. Like I mentioned, I love horror and I love dark themes, but I have an issue reading about harm coming to little children, especially explained in graphic detail. I don't think I mind like if it's a detective mystery and they come upon like the body of a child. I just don't want to read a chapter where like that child is like suffering and dying. I just have a big issue with that now that I've become a mom. I'm a little more of a wuss now, so I have my limits now and I know them. I use bookmarks. I don't have like a lot. Sometimes I'll just use like whatever I have around. But basically, if you dog ear my books, I will find you and I will kill you. When I found out I was pregnant with Henry, I went and tried to find like my favorite children and middle grade books to start up a library for him. Since I found BookTube, I have discovered a wonderful thing, and that is listening to classical music while I am reading, and it has definitely opened up just this whole experience for me. Like, I have Amazon Prime and they have a music app, and on the app they actually have like specific reading playlists for different genres like literary fiction and mystery and historical fiction, and it's just basically changed my life. So I absolutely love it, and now I almost can't read without music. I cannot read and eat at the same time because I feel it's disrespectful to the food. Like, I'm not giving the food the attention that it deserves. One thing I do like about reading books on my Kindle is I really enjoy the highlight feature, and I enjoy seeing what passages other people highlight, and I really like having like the dictionary right there when I need a word to find. It's really, really convenient. I love giving people book recommendations, but I tend to be a little wary of receiving them, especially from people that I don't know that well and I don't know their taste. I tend to be a little wary of that situation. The only books that I pick up that have romance in the synopsis anywhere are basically classics. If I'm reading a synopsis and it says like Jill is blah 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 until she meets Jake who is blah blah blah. Basically, if your synopsis sounds like that, I'm not picking that up. I hate that. I really don't mind mass market paperbacks. I mean, I'm not going to pick up like a really, really ugly mass market paperback because I'm superficial. But I don't mind them. I feel like they're a really good size for a book to carry in my purse. And I know they get a lot of hate. I really don't mind them. And my last one is, I have just discovered library sales, and they have basically changed my life because I never knew of a place where they just sold books for that cheap, and it's absolutely amazing. So anyway, guys, that is my 25 bookish facts about me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I would love to hear what some of your bookish facts are. So if you want to let me know a fact or two in the comments, I would love to read them. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.